E ngā mana tā uki o tēnā iwi o tēnā hapū tēnā koutou katoa.
Nei te mihi mai o haki a koutou, kia ora hui mai tātou.
So Internal Affairs has released 2 documents under the Official Information Act to Marae, focused on the charitable status of Te Kōhanga Reo National Trust Board.
The first is an investigation report on the trust subsidiary Te Pātaka Ohanga, and the second is a review of the trust board itself.
Both documents detail the excessive and surprising expenditure in both organisations. Carmen Parahi reports.
Since allegations of misspending were raised by Māori television in 2013, the Education Minister and the Serious Fraud Office have investigated the Trust Board and TPO. An audit raised concerns around spending and processes, but no fraud was found. The controversial spending habits of the Trust Board and TPO have been explained away, but remain a contentious issue for the public and government.
All the ones that were entitled to be supported in this way were the people over 30 years and before any great funding came from the government who gave everything, gave most, and we all know that, they're all living on the smell of an early rag. So why not consider the commitment that they've given over many years?
The TPO was issued with a warning for their conduct by the charity's services who investigated their charitable status. The charity's services then extended the investigation to include a review of the Trust Board.
I was upset for the whānau, not for myself. I mean, people can say what they like, if you don't know yourself well. But no, I mean, the whole criticism of me being a crook or whatever, the rest of it was a bit of a giggle, actually.
Both documents raise concerns over excessive and misappropriate credit use and a lack of financial management and governance controls. Since 2013, the former Trust Board CEO, TPO General Manager and a trustee have been dismissed. The Trust Board has worked to change the way it operates, but they're still being monitored by Internal Affairs.
So joining us today in our Auckland studio is spokesperson for Te Kōhanga Reo Trust, Eric Fox. Ngā mihi, lovely to have you here this morning. Thanks for joining us. So
I wish I could say it was good to be here.
Well, why isn't it?
Oh, I'm sick of this story. This is a nonsense. You people are desperately raking over old coals trying to find a glowing cinder somewhere, and there isn't one.
By the same token, you have said right from the start that there's nothing to see here, but these reports show that there have been things to see.
What do those reports say at the end?
Well, let me tell you what it says.
What they say is that both these organisations continue to be registered as charities.
Yeah, that's great.
Their charitable status was investigated and it's been upheld.
And that's great, and you're still going through a process. Good. Okay, but at the beginning it also says a large number of concerns in relation to spending on credit cards, financial controls, management, governance and issues relating to charitable purposes were found. So there were concerns in these reports, and I think a lot of people out there, including your Kōhanga members, would be interested in knowing how that came to be.
Overwhelmingly, at its hui, national hui at Tūranga Waewae last year, the Kōhanga Reo Trust voted, the people of the Kōhanga Reo voted to support the present board to get on with delivering the Waitangi Tribunal
and to go
plan.
through processes to clean things up?
No, it said, we want this board that started this. They don't have any concern about things to be cleaned up. There have been 4 reports into the Kōhanga Reo and TPO, and every one of them has come up saying there is nothing unlawful, no public money was at risk, and so on.
And we accept that. There is nothing unlawful here. There's no fraud, but there were
what are we talking
governance issues
about?
and there were things to...
No, there are no governance issues.
Let's have a look at our graphic.
What are the governance issues?
Let's have a look at this graphic.
Tell me what the governance issues are.
I want to look at this graphic.
Righto.
Let's have a look. Okay, so look at that. We've got from the National Trust Board. I mean, you just have to look at it to see that there are issues here.
Over what period of time?
Dollars and over 337 purchases, unreceipted purchases, loans
and does
made.
that person still work for the Kōhanga Reo Trust?
Well, isn't it great that you got to this point?
No,
you were able to tidy things up.
So why are we still going on and on and on? What are you trying to make a mountain out of this for?
This is not a mountain that I'm trying to make. This is me trying to understand where you were and where you are now. So where you were is that you had your former CEO, Titoki Black, with some excessive and spending that we didn't understand.
How do you know it's excessive until you know what the purchases were for?
Well, it says it right there in that graphic. There was $50,000 unaccounted for.
Yeah. What does the CEO up here have on his credit card?
Let me ask you this. Internal Affairs advised if the Trust will believe that there was any wrongdoing by that former CEO that you could make a complaint to the police. Did you do that?
No, because the monies that were misspent were recovered. and because the board has made its peace with Titoki.
Because
that's the way Māori organisations operate, Miriama.
Very good. All right, let's have a look at our next graphic, which relates to TPO. Okay.
Yep.
So you were officially warned, or TPO was officially warned over its conduct. There were concerns raised over spending. I don't need to read all of this.
How long has this particular lady not been at TPO?
And isn't that good again that you managed to get to that point? You managed to get to a point by going through this process where you were able to tidy matters up.
Why aren't you dealing with the real story in all of this as to why the government isn't addressing the Waitangi Tribunal claim?
Why are you so defensive about
I'm not defensive. I'm saying it's done and dusted.
Why not address what went wrong and then tell us how it's been addressed?
It's been addressed.
OK, so there is no longer a whānau assistance loan scheme?
What's wrong with whānau assistance loans?
Well, let me ask you, $160,000
that's not,
to a trustee.
That was one person who got a personal loan which he was entitled to have.
How many wrongs until it's wrong? It's not great to lend $160,000 in a low-interest loan to a trustee, is it? That's not great governance.
That person's no longer a trustee.
Let me ask, was that loan repaid?
But whānau assistance loans, you're picking on one loan. But whānau assistance loans are there to help whānau, Kōhanga Reo whānau, who have got their bits and pieces to deal with, and they're waiting for their money to come through. It's a brilliant idea.
It's about whānau who are in poverty, who need it. This is this is a trustee. This is a $160,000 loan to a trustee, a low-interest loan. Was it repaid?
Which the person was under those rules entitled to have.
Fine. Was it repaid?
It's being dealt with.
It's being repaid.
That person is no longer a trustee.
Okay.
And it's being dealt with.
So they're no longer a trustee, but is that loan being repaid?
It's being dealt with.
Can we confirm that it was repaid?
No, it's being repaid. You can't just cut a loan off like that. You make a loan and you go through the process.
As long as there's a scheme in place to repay loans, that's the most important thing, isn't it?
It always has been. No one says there wasn't a scheme in place to replace loans. All of these loans are being paid off. And overwhelmingly, you don't want to hear this, but overwhelmingly, the loans are to Kōhanga whānau who are waiting for their funds to come in.
I'm glad that you've confirmed. That's great. Let's ask you about Kingi Tūheitia being paid between 2009 and 2012 over $111,000 in directors' fees, which TPO accepted were not directors' fees. What went wrong there?
You get that every week. You get that every month, every year. Kingi Tūheitia is, and the kingitanga, this is a payment or assistance to the kingitanga who have been supporters of the Kōhanga Reo since Dam Te Ātairangi Kāhu for more than 30 years. And they have provided all sorts of assistance, and this is a return in help.
TPO accepted, and it's in this report, that they should not have been listed as directors' fees.
They should not have been listed as a director's fee. That's
something to
see.
see.
Call it something else.
What should have been called?
Well, whatever. I can probably think of a name. If they gave me 5 minutes, I'd think of a name to call it by. But this is to support a group of people who support the Kōhanga.
You know, I'm an ambassador of two charities. I don't get paid a cent.
Don't you?
No, I don't.
Oh, you need to really look
over
at what you're doing.
$100,000.
You really
know, the
need
other
to look
thing.
at
No, let me ask you this too.
Here.
So this has now been referred to the IRD to check for any tax applications. So not great for the king, is it, to be put in this awkward position?
Well, is he in an awkward position?
Well, it doesn't look
have
great
you spoken to the IRD?
I haven't spoken to them.
No.
What's the situation?
So what's your actual point? As I said, the bottom line of this report is that TPO continues to be registered as a charity.
And that's
so does the Kōhanga Reo.
Yeah. My point is that is another example of not great governance.
Well, who says it's not great governance?
You're a journalist.
No, you tell me who said it.
You are a journalist. You know that there is a story.
I'm ashamed to be a journalist sometimes.
Well, you were
and I have been in the last few months.
Yeah, well, you know that there's a story here.
No, there is no story.
There is a story here.
The story
is
done and dusted.
So let's talk about that then. Let's talk about what you've done to remedy this situation and where you're at now. So what's Te Pātako Ohanga's status at the moment? You're a charity. All of this has been cleaned up.
Absolutely.
It's all clear?
Absolutely.
Whānau assistance loan scheme has been ceased?
No. Whānau assistance loans continue because whānau need assistance. Personal loans have been discontinued.
There was a recommendation in this report that scheme should be stopped.
No. The personal loans should be stopped or may be stopped, and personal loans have been stopped. Whānau, why should Kōhanga Reo not receive a bridging finance to carry over their rates or their purchases or other things? Why shouldn't they?
What would you... We're going to talk to Hekia Parata in just a moment. We're going to talk to Hekia Parata. What would you want to know from her?
Well, I want to know why, even though she and the government lost the case before the Waitangi Tribunal, she continues not to sit down with the Kōhanga Reo and deal with it. Because the Kōhanga Reo didn't find that the Waitangi Tribunal didn't find that the Kōhanga Reo was in trouble. It found that the Ministry of Education and the Crown were in trouble. They found that the Ministry of Education and the Crown had carried out multiple breaches of the Treaty of Waitangi. They found that they had done things that were prejudicial.
All right,
No, you don't want to hear this.
No,
this is the real
I
story.
asked you what you want to put to
This is the real story.
We're going to speak to Parata in just a moment. Very quickly.
9,000. No, don't tell me very quickly.
Well, you
invited me here to explain this. There is one story to be done. Why is Hekia Parata not sitting down and negotiating with the Kōhanga Reo to resolve the case that she and the Crown lost?
All right, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much, Derek Fox, for your time this morning.